Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're taking a look at my 1979 Honda ATC 110 three-wheeler. I purchased this thing last summer, or maybe it was the summer before last, as a project. Got it not running, and I put what I call a poor boy rebuild kit on it, where you just take the carburetor apart, clean everything out really well, and put it back together. Uh, and it got the thing running, but it never really ran 100% right. I could tell something was just a little off about it. So recently I ordered a rebuild kit off of eBay. It was about $12 to $15 for that kit. You're going to need some of this stuff right here. Berryman B12 carburetor cleaner. Absolutely the best carburetor cleaner I've ever used. It's called the B12 Chem Tool. If you're a cheap bastard, you can use some of this stuff right here. It's sold at Walmart. Super Tech. It's okay. It just doesn't have as much cut as the B12 does, but certain applications I'll use this, and then I'll use some of this to make my B12 last a little longer. So, all right, we're going to get the intake taken off of here. All right, I got you guys sitting on a tin can here, so hopefully you can see what's going on. We're going to take this off. It's going to leak a little bit of fuel, but that's okay. If you've got sensitive skin, you might want to go ahead and glove up. So go ahead and break these loose, get them out of the way. Okay, that guy doesn't come all the way out of there, so we'll just leave him right there where he is. Inspect the gasket, looks pretty decent. For now, I'm going to set this aside. And we've got an O-ring in here. We're going to take a look at our new kit. Here's the one I bought, race driven. Hopefully you can see the part number there. And look, that's what it comes with. So we're going to start putting that stuff on. That O-ring's probably going to come out. We're going to wait to pull any O-rings until we're sure we've got a new one to go in there. These little nuts may fall out of here. That's okay. We're going to take every bit of this thing apart. Let's take the bowl off. And you know what? Before I take that all the way off, I want to break this loose in case it's on there really tight. Probably a metric, but maybe I can get an 11/16. Yes. Yeah, I don't see a new one of those in the kit, so I'm going to be wary about that. I'm going to leave that alone for right now. Okay. Now I can take the bowl off. Look inside. Not too bad, but float's a little dirty. So we'll set that down inside. I see we do have a new bowl seal in the kit, so that's good news. I'm not going to worry about getting carburetor cleaner on it. Some of these seals can be sensitive to carburetor cleaner, so be aware of that. If you're not putting a rebuild kit on it, you know, you might not want to spray directly on the seals because it could soften them up and weaken them. I've never really had a big problem with that, but I have run into it before where the seals they get to a certain point, or maybe it's a certain type of seal. So we're going to pull this little pin right here out. Just drop it down in the hole there. Now the float is free. And also you'll notice the float needle came out with that. It looks like the kit has a new float needle, but I'm going to leave it all attached for now. I'm just putting everything down in the box. Okay, it looks the same. This one's just skinnier at the head there. Okay, we're good. I'm going to leave that out for now. Just drop that to the side, and we're going to check this center one. Got to be careful with these because they're brass. Okay, I just dropped it. Okay, and that's that little guy. So we're good there. And it's dirty. I need to clean that. Did not come with a new one of those. Okay. There we go. Set that aside. And it also has a screw down here. I'm not sure if I can get this one out though. You can see how it's all mangled up. I tried to get that out before and I couldn't. It's your bowl drain screw. Maybe after some carb cleaner soaks in, maybe that'll come loose. So next up, coat everything down with the good stuff. Make sure you get inside of everything, all the ports. Put some down in the bowl, let it soak in. Alright, so we're going to let that soak in for about 5 or 10 minutes or so, and then come back with a either a soft brass bristle brush like this one. Of course, actually that one's a steel, but a wire brush, or a you can possibly use an old toothbrush. Sometimes they'll melt on you though. You got to pay attention to that. So here's one here. We may try that. So alright, stay tuned guys. When we come back, we'll have this thing cleaned up, ready to put back together. Alright, we've got everything cleaned up, as you can see. That bowl turned out really nice. Cleaned up the float. I've got all our small parts over here. Carburetor turned out really nice. Really clean. That's what you want to see. So, we're going to begin reassembly. Alright, before you reassemble anything like this one that I couldn't get out very easily, make sure that the port down at the bottom is visibly, you can see light through it. You know, hold it up to a light and look through it before you reinstall anything, and that'll help you out. Also, you're going to want to blow through all of these with your air compressor. And basically just stick it in the port there. Make sure you got airflow coming through it. Okay, everything's going well there. And one last one. This is your overflow. I guess if your float gets stuck, it'll flow out here. So let's blow through this. Okay. And it did not come with a new one of these, so I'm going to go over to the wire wheel and clean this up and make sure that they believe there's, yeah, I can see them right here. There's some little bitty holes right here, so you need to make sure those holes are flowing. Alright, got those cleaned up on the wire wheel, looking brand new. This one right here though, I'm going to pay real close attention. I'm going to try to find something small enough to fit through that, but I don't know if I've got any wire or strings that small to fit through that thing. I may just have to try to blow through it and put some B12 up inside of there and see if I can visually see anything flowing through those. Kind of scratching my brain on what I can put through that thing. That'd be hard enough to go through there and clean it out, but yet small enough to do that. So I'm going to start out with some air, and I'll put my finger over the end here. Okay, I feel it flowing through them. But because I can't run anything through there, I'm going to hold my finger over the end, put some B12 in here. You see it spraying? So that's telling me it's got good flow. That's good news. Okay. Good news. All right. So I saw that flow. We're ready to put that back together. Let's get going. All right. Guess it really doesn't matter which order you start or where you start. I'm going to grab this idle mixture screw here. And before I put it in, I'm going to compare it to my old one that I pulled out. Okay, looks good, looks the same. So we're going to put that in. Screws in right here. Just screw it in far enough where it won't come out. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and stick with that. I'm going to take a look at this. This is the one that I took out. I really don't see any problem with it. It has an O-ring on it. I kind of like that. This one is the one they sent with the kit. In this case, I'm going to stick with my original screw. This one doesn't have a place for an O-ring. I don't know. It's just not the same, so I'm going to stick with the original equipment. And that goes right in here. Be very careful with this stuff. Finger start it if you can. Okay. And we're going to run that in. If I'm remembering right, let's run it all the way in until it touches. Don't run it in hard. There it touched. So we're going to go half turn, 1 turn, and half. So a turn and a half out. That's where I like to start on them anyways. If memory serves me, I think that's where it is. So this guy needs to go in. Screw him down in there. And it's probably going to be a funky metric. Yep. Oh, metrics. Snug it up real good. Doesn't need to be super tight. Okay, this guy can go in. Cleaned him up on the wire wheel. It's unfortunate that I deformed it, but the inside of it looks good, so I think we're alright. That thing needs to go down in there pretty good ways. So I'm going to use my tiny hammer here. Sometimes you have to break out an even tinier hammer. Okay, that's all the way in. That's looking good. Okay, set your tiny hammer aside. Next up, I believe we've got this guy right here. This one goes all the way in. Snug it up good. Okay. Alright. So now we're ready to start reassembling the float situation here. You just slide that guy on there like so, and then down in the hole. Okay, now reinstall the pin. And visually inspect that your float is moving up and down. Looks like that needs to be adjusted a little bit. I just bent that down, this little center tab down a little bit, and I'm making sure it's still opening up enough, and it is. It's looking good. Okay, we're going to leave that like that. We got one more jet to put in. It's this guy right here. And he goes in there. And they're going to make me get a smaller screwdriver, it looks like. Nope, perfect. Got it to work. Alright, just still visually inspecting everything. Looks good. Alright, so we're ready to put the bowl gasket on. Come back here, just like that. If you have a hard time getting it to stick in there, you can use a little white lithium grease or something, which I'm probably going to go ahead and do, just so that next time it comes apart a little easier for you. Oh, there'll be a next time. You'll neglect it. You know, you'll ride the heck out of it, and then next year you'll forget to ride it, and you go to start it a year later and it'll do this. You'll have to rebuild the carb again. Okay. So I'm looking down in here. What's going on here? This looks like a little fuel filter. Okay. That's exactly what that is. And they did not give me a new O-ring for this, so I'm going to have to go through my own O-rings and see if I can find one for that. Now they gave me this one. Now we're going to blow through this and clean any gunk off of this filter. Okay, so I've got to find an O-ring that size. Not the best kit. I wanted every O-ring. I have to use my own O-rings. Man, what kind of deal is this? Better have one that fits it. It looks about like the one, but probably too big. Yep. Wouldn't you know it? Let's try this box of O-rings. Better be one in here. Ooh, 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 what's this? Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right. It's always good to have extra O-rings. Okay, so same sort of deal. Put a little bit of this beaver oil on here, 100%. That's actually beaver grease. Shove that back in there. Come on. As far as it goes. Yep, now I gotta take the damn O-ring off and see if it'll go any farther than that. Get in there. Go to your home. Oh, damn it. Is that O-ring they've got thin? Extra thin? Look at that. They put an extra thin Honda O-ring on there. Oh my God. Bastards. Well, we're going to use this one. We'll run up what we brung. All right. Yeah, there we go. Right back in there. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to replace that O-ring there. Looks like it's that one there. It's an O-ring seal, so you don't have to go crazy with it, but good and snug. Oh, almost lost you there. Alright. So now we are ready to throw this back on. Set this aside and just make sure your pin is in place. Everything's looking good. And it only goes on one way, just like that. Everything feels good. Start your screws. Snug it. And go to this side, snug it. Come back, tighten it. Again, you don't have to go crazy, but you don't want it to vibrate apart either. A little bit tighter than good and snug. How about that? Alright, visually inspect everything. See if we got any extra parts over here. Looks like we do. Not sure. I think that's for the cap. I think that's for the top cap O-ring. Or maybe that one is. Not sure. That one actually would make more sense. Yeah, that one must be for the top plate. I have no idea what that's for. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. Just had to think about it. Goes right here. Light layer. Okay. Reassemble this guy. All right. Now watch, I put the snorkel on upside down, the air intake or something. Alright, good and snug there. Good and snug there. Alrighty. Looking good. Now I've made the decision that I'm not going to change out this needle. I could pretty easily, but I don't think that's where my problem was. I think it was in the jetting and in some of the seals and stuff. So we're going to go over to the other shop, reassemble this thing, and see how we did. Well guys, I got her running. The problem is it's still backfiring. It's running a lot better, but it's got me thinking that maybe the coil wire or the coil itself might be going bad. See if I can get it started for you. running a lot better, but it's still loading up with fuel, or either that or it's starving for fuel. I can't really tell. Also, it could be a spark issue, but listen to how good it runs at idle. It's just when you hit it hard, it's backfiring. So I don't know what to think about that. I'm gonna have to take a look at the coil and the coil wire, and because it'll die here in a second.